kunnen soldaten hebt.
You are depriving us of liberty.
Ci stai privando della gioia di abbracciarci.
De darnos besos.
Și să trăim iubire.
Du attackierst uns mit deinen Verbündeten.
ความหวาดกลัว
Rozhobljenost.
Miedo.
No same straszne.
Wantiparadzira mauto angu.
你夺走了他们的生命。
Querido Corona.
Déjame decirte.
Δεν μας έχεις νικήσει.
Nuestro ejército se hará fuerte.
Juanini.
Fordi a har tro.
Husk.
Fe.
Fe.
Vera.
Credință.
Y tengo las armas para enfrentarte.
Respeito. Respect for others.
Mon voisin.
Moich znajomy.
My friends.
Die Schwächsten.
Me quedaré en casa.
Je ne vais pas t'ouvrir la porte.
Nu te voi căuta.
And if I have to go into the battlefield.
To help the one who really needs it.
เพื่อปกป้องชีวิตของเราทหาร
E eu farei isso com muito cuidado.
Only when necessary.
Samantala.
Voglio godere dell'abbraccio della mia famiglia a casa.
Время, которого мне не доставало.
I will eat healthily.
Me las arreglaré para hacer ejercicio.
Ich werde nur schlafen.
Nanita Amini.
Nella responsabilità e solidarietà dell'umanità.
Chambure.
For doctors and nurses.
Nossos heróis.
Real heroes.
And in God. Even if it does not really seem.
Hat alles unter Kontrolle.
C'est lui qui contrôle tout.
He is in control. Sim, querido coronavírus.
Dumnezeu deține controlul.
Él tiene el control.
Da, 주관하십니다.
C'est lui qui contrôle.
Ele está no controle.
He is in control. Is in control. Is in control.
Hope Channel, changing lives.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Hope at Home Sabbath afternoon discussion. This afternoon, we are going to discuss COVID-19 or coronavirus. The purpose of this discussion is to help you clear some of the myths or misinformation that we have about coronavirus, get to the right information, and how we can prevent the disease. To help me do this is Dr. Baffour Sarpong from Mamponsem SDA Church. Dr. Baffour, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
And how are you doing?
I'm doing well by God's grace.
Thank God. You are safe from coronavirus.
Yes, I'm safe.
We thank God. And we have Dr. Sheridan Davis from Hans Road SDA Church. Doc, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
And how are you doing too?
By God's grace, I'm doing well.
We thank God. Let me give a brief introduction to our discussion today. So it was in 2019 December when we heard of a lot of pneumonia cases and respiratory conditions in China. Wuhan to be specific. And at that point, we didn't even know what was causing this outbreak of respiratory diseases. So we thought it was associated with seafood, animals giving it to human beings. We were not very clear. But it was spreading. People all over China were getting it all across the province in China. And then we realized the other countries are also getting, so South Korea, Germany, all the other countries started getting it. So by research, we were told that it's caused by novel 2019 coronavirus. And we are still reading about it. Now we say it's called COVID-19 as a disease. And the current figures are scary. Globally, 290,000 people have gotten the disease. Out of this, over 11,000 have died from this disease. Even though the recovery, those who have recovered are 93,000, I mean, those who have died are significant. So our discussion today is going to look at what is COVID-19, what causes it, how does it spread, how can we save ourselves from getting this disease, so we can get the information across. You know, there's a lot of panic in the system now. Yes. Everybody's afraid to even go out. A lot of directives have been given. We'll go for a short commercial. When we come back, we'll go into a discussion. Look at what is COVID-19, how does it spread, is there a treatment for it, and how can we save ourselves. And for our viewers in the house, there'll be an opportunity for you to call us and ask a question. So the number is 0302 95 9065. 0302 95 9065. Our WhatsApp number 055 968 0066. 055 968 0066. We'll be right back after this break.
It's fun to share with others, except when you're sharing germs. Here are some tips to stay healthy and prevent the spread of disease. Don't cough or sneeze into the air, as this can spread germs. Wave hello to greet people, rather than hugging or shaking hands. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with your hands. Wash your hands regularly with soap and hot water and scrub for at least 20 seconds. Regularly disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces to stop germs from spreading. If you have a fever or think you may be getting sick, just stay home. Your body needs rest and you don't need to share your germs with anyone else. Working together, we can all help keep our community free from germs and prevent the spread of disease.
Asetena ye twemu hyen obran mu nsem doso emu akukura hwe ase doso abenidie ene ohaw ene je ketua bi ne hom enti Hope Channel e de abrabo yi mu nsem e de brew ne nu mu na akukudam ene wona waben e wade suam e fa abusua ho nsem ene bran mu nsem de twetwen komo
Yankopon pesa warefo nya nigye enti de edi kan hia pa yese Ubayuhwe onipa opeso wa no ohwe ekuo bi a woni omu nyina esom ese nipa a woni won egidie ye baako ebi a woni nyina som eko baako saafo no mu na sese obihwe eyira na ekunu
enti famre tani ye nhia e wasetena yi mu nsem so na beboa wo amonya nigye e wo bra mu e beboa wo ama otipa yi nyina ate ahwe efise Kristo ofi odomo a enigye ehyefi homa ene yentena na abra enko sedia osibi medas
AWR Ghana wo wiase a aye basabasa yi edida so na wo seche yenam akwahwefo kasa fidie so edi dwumadi a bema wo ahoɔden ni nhira da bia dwumadi bi te sɛ afisɛm mabunu dwaso sumie maadwen ebiri mu nokwasɛm ni dwumadi ahodo a yɛhyɛ da ahyehyɛ diama wo
Bible no ema yɛte ase sɛ onyankopɔn asɛm ɛyɛ enkwa
merofo pa baabi a wo bia me mu akɔ aba yɛde dwumadi bi brewa ya to ne din asafo akoma
unya obrase menita Debbie se wo wa obrase nche se wagimi sa
Adventist World Radio Ghana anida so ne
ebiri bia tie na ye nhira Adventist World Radio anida so ne
So you are welcome back to our self-acting discussion on COVID-19. So start Dr. Baffour, what is COVID-19 or coronavirus?
Okay, so with a brief introduction, currently the world is on a standstill. There's panic all over. Major cities are shutting down. I just heard that about 5 US states are almost shutting down. California, Illinois, all the big states. And great nations are all shutting down. All because of one germ, one virus called coronavirus. So essentially viruses, they are germs, and we don't see that, we cannot see with our naked eye.
That's right.
Yes, there are several of them, bacteria, there are several germs, okay, and virus is one type of the germ, and there are several viruses. They all cause different diseases, a whole spectrum of diseases, yes, and a type of virus is called coronavirus. It derives its name because the corona means crown. So I think the shape of the virus looks like a crown, and that's how it derives its name.
Okay.
It commonly causes infections of the respiratory tract. Okay, so we know about
lungs,
yes. So infections in the nostrils, your throat, and then your lungs.
Okay.
We know about the coronaviruses causing all those infections, but this COVID-19, which is coronavirus disease 2019, is a new strain that has emerged. Over time, these viruses undergo certain changes, and they gain strength, and their nature changes, and the way they cause disease also changes. And this COVID-19 or coronavirus disease 2019 is a new type that has emerged with a different strength and a different way of causing the disease. Okay. And with the introduction you gave, it started from Wuhan, China. Yeah. It can be traced to a market in that city where people were selling all sort of wild animals and seafood. Yes. And then they noticed that those people who trade there and then who live in the city were presenting with different forms and severities of respiratory illness. And then they suspected the onset of a different strain of virus. That was when they did several investigations and they realized that there is a new type of coronavirus. So they said a novel coronavirus. Then World Health Organization also took it up and then saw that this was a different strain at all. And they renamed it the COVID-19 or coronavirus disease.
So it means that this is not the first coronavirus we've had in the world.
Exactly. There are several coronaviruses. Yes. And they cause common cold. Okay. So I'm sure several people have had coronaviruses causing common cold. Yes. But this is a new type, a new strain.
With different, the resistance to a lot of things.
Exactly. It's a new strain or a new type, okay, with different features from the ordinary coronavirus
that we know.
So
that makes it different from what we know.
Okay. And it causes severe disease. And that's how come we are noticing so many deaths all over the world. Okay. And this is a new feature of this is that it's highly infectious. I mean, it spreads very easily. We will come to that about the mode of spread and all that.
Exactly. Yes. So Dr. Sheridan, let's look at what shows that have coronavirus. Especially, I mean, talking about COVID-19, what shows that have COVID-19? As we see it, what shows that have COVID-19?
Okay, so just like Doc said, it is more like a flu-like symptoms. So this coronavirus also cause the flu-like symptoms just like any other virus. So you have cough, runny nose, sneezing, and then temperature. But this temperature is very high. You can record up to 38, 39 degrees Celsius. It's very high. And then it also affects you, can also cause difficulty in breathing, that is shortness of breath. And then depending on your immunity level, some may present asymptomatic, that is, you will not see any sign, and others mild symptoms, and then severe symptoms. So depending on your immunity, and then if you have any comorbid states, that will let you exhibit these signs and symptoms.
Well, comorbid state is any other disease? Any
other disease that affects your immunity state, such as diabetes, if you're a cancer patient, if you have used steroids for a very long time, hypertension, heart conditions. So these things can affect the way that someone would exhibit the signs and symptoms of state.
So the main features you should look for is high temperature.
High temperature, 38, 39 degrees.
Coughing.
And
sneezing. Then difficulty in breathing.
So if you
have any of these things, you should quickly get to the hospital for the necessary testing to be done. But does it mean that anyone who have this cough, this body ache, this runny nose have COVID-19? How do we define someone who is a suspected case of COVID-19?
So currently the COVID-19 is a new strain of coronavirus. Okay. And it started in China and then it has spread to other nations. Okay. And on our homeland Ghana as well.
We have 19 cases now.
We currently have 19 cases. Yes. So there is a way of defining who fits so well into who is a suspected case of COVID-19. Like Dr. Sheridan said, it presents with a flu-like symptom. Yes. It's a respiratory tract infection. So you have a fever runny nose, you cough, sore throat, and then it can extend to your lower respiratory tract as pneumonia, and so you have difficulty in breathing. Okay, yes. And so when someone presents with that, that resembles most disease conditions.
Oh, that flu.
Yes. But one significant history is you've been in contact with a confirmed case of coronavirus. Someone, yes. Or a recent travel from a hard-hit country.
Okay.
Okay, yes. So, for instance, someone just returned from China or Italy or the United States. Or so a recent travel is one significant history.
Okay.
And then contact with someone who is coughing or someone who has been confirmed
as having
coronavirus.
Okay.
And now, the 19 cases that we have, 3 of them didn't have contact with someone who has had it before, a confirmed case of COVID-19, meaning that there is what we call community spread. Okay, so it has been transmitted from those people, established cases, those who the imported cases. So you on the radio you hear that, oh, we have a new case and it's an imported case. Imported case means that the person has arrived from where there is an outbreak of COVID-19, and the person, the person exhibited a symptom, and then we did a test and we've confirmed that the person had COVID-19. That is an imported case. But when it is transmitted to someone who is living here, who hasn't traveled and hasn't been exposed to those cases outside, then that is community spread, or horizontal transmission. Yes, and when that person comes, the contact is a very important thing, but that person can also spread it to another person. So because it's a droplet infection, so it keeps traveling and traveling. So currently, because we've recorded
19 confirmed
cases of community spread, someone can present, the person has had no contact with anyone who is suspected to have COVID-19, but the person can be a suspected case, may have the virus, because now it's spreading. It's spreading around. There have been cases where people have not come into contact with confirmed cases, have no travel history, but then they have COVID-19.
So then how does it spread? Dr. Sheridan, maybe I can start with you.
Yeah,
how does it spread?
Basically, as you say, it's a respiratory condition, and then they spread via droplets. So when someone coughs and these droplets comes out, or when someone sneezes and it comes out, and then if you are in contact with a person and you inhale these droplets, it gets into you. Or when a person coughs and these droplets get onto surfaces, and then you by means touch those surfaces, and you touch your eyes, your nose, your mouth, that is how come you get it. So basically it's through air medium. Yes, and then touching of surfaces that are infected with these viruses.
So the direct means will be when you cough and I'm close to you and I inhale the droplets, that can get the virus into me. And then the second one is on surfaces. On surfaces. Including my palm.
Yeah, it can be on door handles, door handles, cars, mobile phones, tabletops.
And because you can't see this virus with our eyes, it becomes very important for us to, stay guard so we don't touch these surfaces. Is that why we say we shouldn't handshake, or there's a particular reason why we shouldn't handshake people? But Dr. Baffour?
Yes, so like you said, it's by air droplets and then contact with infected surfaces. Okay, so you have someone who has COVID-19 and the person coughs.
In their palm?
Yes. Coughs and then touches, covers the mouth or something, or sneezes onto the hands. Okay, the hand is used for so many things, so many activities. In fact, as humans, our hand is what we use for everything. So the the hand is the most infected part of our body.
Yeah.
Okay, when it comes to COVID-19. Okay, so and then the person can also touch
other surfaces.
Other surfaces.
Okay.
Okay. So you can even have someone who is not exhibiting symptoms, but has touched a surface that is infected with COVID-19. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Or the person has it, and then the hand has come into contact with the viruses.
Okay.
And so if you shake hands, then
pick it from the person.
There will be then there will be transmission onto your hands.
Okay.
Okay. So you have washed your hand, but when you shake hand with the person, the viruses can still be transmitted onto your hand. Okay. So that's how come now we are discouraging handshaking. Actually, we will come to the social distancing. Exactly. We are supposed to even withdraw from people, take some distance, and so even hand shaking doesn't come in now. Yes. So also to add to what he's saying, so about a 1 meter radius around you. Okay.
So where 1 meter means 100 centimeters between you and the person.
Yes. So the viral particles suspend in the air for some time.
Okay.
Yes. So when someone coughs and releases the viruses into the environment, they are more concentrated around about 1 meter radius around the person.
Okay.
And so when you get close to the person, then you inhale it, you are likely to get the infection.
If I inhale the droplets or I get from the surfaces, how long will it take before I start getting the disease? And will everybody get the disease after inhaling the droplets? We'll start with Dr. Sheridan and I'll come to Baffour.
Okay, so we are told that the incubation period spans between 2 to 14 days. That's about 2 weeks.
Okay.
So, and as I said from the beginning,
what the incubation period is?
When we say incubation period, I would say a dormant stage of the virus. That the virus is there, but for some reasons it's dormant, so it's not exhibiting itself.
So the time that the virus enters me, the time I show the symptoms, is like the incubation period.
Yes, that's the incubation period. So you can give a maximum of 14 days.
Okay.
2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the timeline that someone gets it.
So if I inhale it, is it compulsory that I'll get the disease?
Yeah. So I said from the beginning that it depends on the person's immune system.
Okay.
Yeah, because most people, since they might be asymptomatic, might not even show signs, just because probably they have a high or boosted immune system. Then others will show it quickly because they have some diseases already in them. So it depends on individual, it depends on the person. Yeah, it's not a hard and fast rule that similarly you inhale the virus, you get
the disease.
Yeah.
Yes, and also with the incubation period, that's the time when you get the infection till the time you start showing your first symptoms. We say it's 2 to 14 days, so it means you can exhibit the symptoms after 2 days of getting the infection, or 3 days, or 4 days, or 5 days. It's between 2 to 14 days. That's how come we quarantine, or we keep someone that we think may have it for that period. So when that time span elapses, okay, after 14 days, if that person is not showing any symptom, then we are a bit sure. Okay, it's not 100%, but we know that this person is not likely to have COVID-19. Yes.
And the other point is, who is at risk of the disease? Can anybody get it, or some particular group of people?
So everyone is at risk.
Yeah. Okay.
Every person is capable of getting COVID-19. Okay. From children through all age groups, both male and female. We won't say that it affects males more than females. No. Or it affects children more than adults. Everyone is at risk. Yeah. That's how come everyone needs to put on preventive measures, which we'll be talking about, in order to prevent the disease.
From community. But we said the elderly and some people are more at risk, please.
Yeah, so we realized that initially when it started spreading, and we're told that those who are aged 16 and above are people who are more likely to be affected. And then children are kind of immune. And then even when you come to even Africa and Europe are more likely or are more at risk compared to Africa. But now I realize that no, that's not the case. Everybody is being affected. It's affecting any age group. It's affecting children under 12, middle age, people aged about 60. So it can affect anybody.
Is there a cure for COVID-19?
So, so currently there is no drug or vaccine that targets the virus. There is no COVID-19 drug that when you have the infection, when you take it will clear all the viruses from your body. Like for instance, you have malaria and you go to the hospital, you are diagnosed of malaria, and they will put you on malaria treatment. And then you are fine. We test you and we don't have malaria parasites in your blood. No. There is no drug like that. And we don't also have a vaccine that we can inject you to prevent you from COVID-19. This is because this is a new type of virus that has emerged. And drug development and vaccine development takes time. But currently, several drugs are being tried to see whether they will be effective in minimizing the severity and also recovery of from the disease. So there are several drugs, and several laboratories are also doing research, very intensive research with a lot of speed. They want to discover the vaccine and the drug very fast. So apparently you hear in the news that chloroquine that we use. We've all taken it before when we were kids and we get malaria. Well, it's been proven in certain places that it's quite effective in helping recovery, but it's not. It hasn't been confirmed completely that it can cure it.
There's this herbal medicine we saw on social media with COVID-19. Can we confirm that to you?
No, so as Doc said, most of these drugs are under trial stages. The chloroquine, as you said, they are trying it and testing it to see if it will work. So that is why we are emphasizing on the precautionary measures. It's more important. Until we have a cure for it, we have to take good care of ourselves. And one thing about these viruses is that if not for this new strain, most viral diseases we say are self-limiting. They come and then within some time you will not do anything specific and then you go away. But this one is a different one, which I think is not going away, so we need a cure for it.
And so is the panic in the system justified in that there's no treatment? So we should put our hands on our head and start crying because if I get the virus, I'm going to die. Or there is hope. Are people recovering from the disease?
Yes. I think one thing that is contributing to the panic, there are several things that are contributing to the panic. And one of them is because there is no drug, there is no vaccine for it. And then looking at losing about 11,000 people around the world
over 4 months.
Is very significant. And so that is one thing that is contributing towards the panic. And there are also several rumors and fake news going around. And so that also adds to people's fears. So we'll talk about some of the myths around it. But like Dr. Sheridan said, most viral illnesses are self-limiting. And so your immune system is what actually controls the virus and then also handles the virus, keeps it in check, and makes sure the disease doesn't progress and overwhelm your entire body and lead to death. So when you have a very good immune system, you'll be ill, but then your immune system will help you to recover. The immune system is what God placed in us to help fight diseases. It's the defense system. Every country has built its defense system with soldiers and all that. God also plays that thing in us. There are several components of it, like the way the military has several components. So the body marshals all those forces
to attack the disease,
to attack
so
the virus.
Healthy.
Yes, so that to keep the body healthy. Yes.
So we'll go for a short break and continue. We'll be looking at the prevention, look at how we can do the proper hand washing, and answer some few questions that we have, as well as the phone calls that will come. So to our viewers, if you still have questions or comments, our WhatsApp number is 055-968-0066, 055-968-0066. Or when the time for calling is announced, you can call this number 0302-959065, 0302-959065. We'll be right back after this short break.
It's fun to share with others, except when you're sharing germs. Here's some tips to stay healthy and prevent the spread of disease. Don't cough or sneeze into the air, as this can spread germs. Wave hello to greet people, rather than hugging or shaking hands. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with your hands. Wash your hands regularly with soap and hot water, and scrub for at least 20 seconds. Regularly disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces to stop germs from spreading. If you have a fever or think you may be getting sick, just stay home. Your body needs rest, and you don't need to share your germs with anyone else. Working together, we can all help keep our community free from germs and prevent the spread of disease.
If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves. As a soldier of the cross, you must take instructions from your commander-in-chief. You must live the way he wants to live his life. For the next 13 weeks, we'll go to the series, In His Identity I Stand. By the end of the series, we will identify who God's people are, what qualifies them.
For the babies who are getting it.
Okay. Yeah. The next person says, this is a very good initiative, very informative and educative. I'm watching at Adenta. Thank you very much for watching. Happy Sabbath. Does alcohol consumption prevent COVID-19? Done of Amazing Grace Eze in Axim. Should I drink alcohol too?
Yes, so I'm sure the person is asking that question because sanitizers have some alcohol in it, and so think that if you take in alcohol, alcohol is adverse effects actually reduces your immune system. So when you get COVID-19, your immune system will be down. So if you are someone who takes in alcohol, who consumes
yourself
alcohol,
at risk of getting
you are rather putting yourself at risk.
Yeah, so it's one of the myths that's going on.
So the alcohol should be used for our hands, but not for consumption.
Yes.
Sure. Okay. And someone says, can you please ask Mckeown? He said on his page, people are sending videos around saying that the vaccine will be a plan of the Caucasians to wipe the African population. Can he clear the air on that? I don't have any post about this. But I know there are so many myths around. Some even said that the coronavirus was a plan to depopulate China. And so there are so many myths around. But if that was the plan, now the whole world is under this pandemic.
Yeah, so actually the COVID-19 is, from what we know now, is a zoonotic disease, meaning that it was transferred from animals to humans. Okay, that Wuhan market where they were selling and feeding on different types of wild animals. You know, our brothers, the Chinese,
they eat a lot of
they consume almost everything. Yeah, so from what we know now, it's transmitted from animals to humans, and that's how come there was an outbreak in that area. There are so many myths and misconceptions. You know, when there is an outbreak of a disease, and especially because it's a pandemic now, every country has it. People read so much meaning into it, thinking that, but If it were to depopulate the Chinese population, then why is it that it's affected every country? Even now, a lot of Europeans are rather dying in Italy.
Yes, they are recording more death than
more
China.
Death, more than
China.
So our brother Elder Joseph Dazi from Takrady says, hello, happy Sabbath. We understand the virus was actually made in the lab. How true is this? It still goes back to what you just said. So many miscommunications.
Yeah, so the virus, from what we know now, it wasn't synthesized in any laboratory. In fact, several political systems are using it as a propaganda tool. So there was one propaganda tool that emerged from China that the U.S. military actually invented a virus
to the
Chinese to infect them. Okay, and the U.S. they are denying that, saying that it's a propaganda, it's a misinformation.
Yeah.
So it's expected that with such the emergence of a new strain of virus that is killing so many people, yes, people will create a lot of myths and misconception about it. But what we know now is that it was transmitted from animals to human beings. Yeah.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. from Kumasi. My question is, does it mean any sign or symptom of cold or catarrh could be possible COVID-19 case? Dr. Sheridan.
Yeah, so I think in our earlier discussion, we made mention that due to the fact that that is the issue, or that is the concern that we have now as a world. When you have those cold, catarrh and everything, it's not necessarily mean that it's COVID-19. Yes, but it is a point that you need to get to a health facility for you to be checked.
Okay.
And then samples will be run to show that it is COVID-19. But I'm sure that if COVID-19 hasn't come and someone has a cold, runny nose, cough, nobody will take it serious. But because of the context of where we find ourselves now, it's important that you get yourself checked. And then once you have this travel history, contact with anyone,
you should also check that too.
Also, there is a criteria that we follow. So when anyone walks into the health facility, we have a screening team that will evaluate the patient to see whether the patient really fits the criteria for screening for COVID-19.
Okay. So
you may have a cold, you may be coughing with a sore throat, but you may not necessarily be screened for COVID-19 when
if the other case definitions.
If you don't match that case definition, that criteria properly, and the health professionals think that, oh, it's just an upper respiratory tract infection you have, it's unlikely to be COVID-19. They may not do that test for you.
Okay.
They will treat you anyway.
Thank you. Emmanuel from Shama says, how true that the virus doesn't withstand heat? Does it mean that it will be difficult to attack someone who always gets close to fire, like fishmongers and bakers?
You see, when the disease started spreading, we were given some guidelines and everything, but now things are changing. Initially, they said that because the virus can't withstand heat, the virus can come to Africa. But now that's not the case.
Yeah.
It is spreading. So that's also one misconception.
Yeah.
That the virus cannot withstand heat. Yeah.
The fishmongers and the bakers are not
everybody's
safe from getting
at risk.
Nana Sari says, I haven't encountered a suspected person, but when I wake up this morning, I don't feel good in my body, and I fear. What should you do? You have to go to the hospital.
Yes.
I think we have a caller on the line. Hello, can you hear us? Good evening.
You can see our area here, we are in very rich because there are so many outside people, white men are here. So if you see anything like this, where should you go? Like a place that you don't know where to go. If you see some of the lines that they have given to us, when even you call, you can't even get them. So if something like this happens in our area, if you see some of the symptoms, what should you do?
Okay, thank you very much. We'll respond to your question. All right, so Dr. Baffour, the point will be, should everybody be tested for COVID-19?
So, like we said, when you have COVID-19 presents with respiratory tract symptoms, okay, that is the cough, fever, sore throat, headache, but when you have all those symptoms, it does not necessarily mean that it's COVID-19.
But you must go to the hospital.
Yes.
And at the hospital.
Yes. Before COVID-19, so many people used to have these symptoms, which is an upper respiratory tract infection. And so when you have those symptoms, now that there is community spread, ideally, you're supposed to call the numbers that has been displaced, those are the contact numbers that manages the COVID-19.
Yes, and now they are using 112.
112 as the short code, yes. Ideally, you call them, you communicate with them, and then they will give you the guideline. Because once you step out, you may spread the disease, since it's a droplet infection. So ideally, you're supposed to be at home, you call, and then they will direct you as to what to do. And then if there is the need for them to take sample for you and all that, they will go ahead and do it. But then in our current situation, it's not like that. Everything is not in the ideal state. So once you decide to go out, then you need to, when you are coughing and all that, you need to cover your face mask with the face. You need to get a face mask, and then before you move out, once you are coughing, so that you don't spread the viruses to other people. And when you get there, they will evaluate you. Not every facility is a sample collection facility. Not every hospital has the capacity to take the sample. Currently in Ghana, there are 2 places that does the test, the laboratory test. Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research at the University of Ghana, and then Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research. Yes. Those are the places that does the laboratory test. All other places are sample collection sites. So they will take the sample from you, and then they will transport it to those places. And once you present to a health facility, even if it's not a sample collection center, they will rather contact
the other sample collection center.
So
once you go to the hospital, the next lines will be activated.
They
have to be in the house.
Just on the
please do
the mass testing. You see, mass testing is very, very important. But as a nation, as a country, if we are willing to do the mass testing, then it means that we have to put in a lot of effort. So imagine you test about 200 people, and 90 of them show or test positive for COVID-19. What are you going to do? It means that you have to quarantine them. So therefore, we have to put in measures or quarantine places that once we test people, we quarantine them. Because when you test and you don't do anything for them, then we are not doing anything.
So there's another caller on the line. Hello, good evening, and you're welcome. Hello, please, can you hear us? Okay. And back to the same thing, there's a question that says that we say we should eat healthy food so we can have a good immune system. And this question is so interesting. It says she hopes that eating fufu every day will prevent them from getting the virus. What do you say?
When we talk about the immunity, when we talk immunity, basically it has to do with how you handle your body. So we know that the fruits, the vegetables help to build our immune system. And then things that we do, like having adequate rest, exercising, drinking water, basically our new starts that we always preach as Adventists, our nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine, all these things help temperance, air, rest, and then trust in God.
We need to activate all of
activate all these things. All these things help us to boost. And then can also take the vitamin C tablets, or take more oranges. They are rich in vitamin C to boost the immune system.
This is Silva from Takoradi. I want to know, can coronavirus be termed as airborne disease? I think we mentioned that earlier, so we'll move on. There's a caller on the line. Hello, good evening. Can you hear us? Your name is Kwesi?
Yeah.
Okay, please go ahead.
Discussion. My question is that on the sector, the incidence of cancer is not virus. How can that be sanitizing?
Kwesi, can you please reposition yourself and speak? We can hardly hear you from here. Hello, Kwesi, can you come again? We couldn't hear you properly. Okay, so we struggle to hear Kwesi. We'll just move on. If he comes back, we'll get to him. God bless you for the good work. My question is, if I'm tested positive, what can I do to survive? This is Christopher from Winneba. I think we mentioned that earlier. People are recovering. So it doesn't mean that once you have COVID-19,
it's not a death sentence.
You are going to die. No, people are recovering from that.
It's not a death sentence.
Happy Sabbath. Please, I'm Irene texting from Accra. Please help me confirm for our able doctors if it's true. If it's true that there is a rapid diagnosis test we can buy from the drugstore to test ourselves.
No, that is false.
It's false. Okay.
For now, we don't have any rapid diagnostic test. Even the test that is done at Noguchi and Kumasi take about up to about 8 hours to be able to get the result. Yes.
Okay. Hello, I'm Justice. My question is, if a person is having severe headache and itching, can that be a symptom of COVID-19? No. Hello, I'm Vida from Accra. Can you comment on how bitter cola, turmeric, and other natural seeds can be of help in the prevention of COVID-19?
So I think those substances, turmeric and all, are anti-inflammatory substances.
Can we take this
and
call
also
and then get back to the question?
Okay.
Hello, welcome. My name is James. Can you mention your name and let us know your question, please? Hello, good evening. We can hear you from here. Can we know your name and where you are calling from?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you from here. Please speak up.
Hello, sir.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Sir, please, I'm asking a question. Good evening.
Please ask a question. We can hear you.
I'm asking a question from what the doctor just said that you can contract the disease when opening a car or when somebody sneezes. You can contract the disease when opening a car or opening a gate when somebody touches it. So please, are we to wear gloves when going out, or we should
wear boots?
Wear boots.
Okay, so I think
we should take this toilet roll or whatever along, so that when we open a car or a gate, we can protect ourselves from it.
Okay, so thank you very much for your question. When we get to the prevention, we'll talk about it. But one simple answer, maybe before we lose it, will be get a hand sanitizer.
Sure.
So once you open the door and sit in the car, you just sanitize your hand, and then you are good to go. We need to look at the prevention, but let me look at these few questions. And we're talking about the bitter cola and the turmeric.
So those are substances that also help to boost the immune system. Okay, and so those help when, let's say, you get an infection and then you have a good immune system and you can handle it. Okay. Your immune system can handle it very well. But for the preventive measures, that is what will not make you get the COVID-19. We'll emphasize on that very soon.
Then let's look at the prevention. How do I prevent myself from getting it? We'll start with Dr. Yes,
all right, so once we know how we get it, then basically, once you know how you get it, then you protect yourself in that line. So Doc earlier said that when you have a 1 meter or 2 meter radius, that is where the virus is. So the first thing we can do is social distances. That is why most countries have locked down. They are encouraging their citizens not to go to public gatherings, social places, because that is where you get a contact. So once you're able to limit these things, it's one of the ways that you should help to prevent it.
So then we'll start with what we keep hearing. The first thing, wash your hands, right?
Yes.
And running water with soap. And then we say that if you don't have that facility, you can use a hand sanitizer. Very good. One of the things we want to tell our viewers is that we're going to demonstrate how to wash your hands properly so that all of us will know. Because all hand washing is not the same as all hand washing. Some of the germs may be in between your hands, your fingers, and you may not even know. So, Dr. Baffour, will you lead us to this hand washing practicals?
Okay.
And just to say that your alcohol sanitizer should be 70%.
Yeah.
The alcohol should be 70%. So those who are taking Aquateshi to wash their hands know that Aquateshi is not 100%, it's not 70, it's just 40%, we're told.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't do a good job. So I'll help you with the sanitizer. We'll just do that. Kindly have this. Dr. Sheridan, please have yours.
Okay.
And then I'll have mine. And we'll just go ahead with that. Okay. So you are ready?
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll first.
Oh, there's a caller on the line. Okay, let's take the caller.
Okay, let's talk to the caller first.
Hello, good evening. We can hear you. Can you hear us?
My name is calling from Arizona.
Your name is?
My question is that you are advising us to use hand sanitizer. On the function, the hand sanitizer doesn't kill virus. Why are you advising us to use that?
Can you please ask the question again? We couldn't get it. Did you get the question?
Yeah, he said the hand
I said
sanitizers
that
do not kill virus.
you are advising us to use hand sanitizers.
Okay.
So on the function of hand sanitizer, it doesn't kill virus.
Okay.
Then why are you asking us to use hand sanitizer?
Okay. Thank you very much. So I think you can answer that question.
Yeah, so one ultimate way of prevention, the main is hand washing.
Okay.
But in the interim, we use the hand sanitizers and then intermittently wash your hands. So you can't use a hand sanitizer throughout the 24-hour period or the whole day. Once you use hand sanitizer is not enough to prevent the infection. So once you use the hand sanitizer and then intermittently you need to wash your hand, because like he said, the hand sanitizer doesn't completely eliminate the viruses. Okay, but hand washing with soap and water essentially clears the viruses from your hands. Okay. Yes. So hand washing is superior to the hand sanitizer. Okay. Yes. So we are going to demonstrate how to use the sanitizer and then the hand washing as well.
Has just dried up, or you still have enough?
Almost.
Okay, you can just dry
yes. Yes. So we start.
Yes, please.
Okay. So we'll first dip the tip of our fingers in there to disinfect it first. So and then after that we will pour the sanitizer into the other hand and disinfect the other hand. Great. Okay. So when you are done, you spread all over the hand. Okay. And then you now disinfect the palms and then the back of our hands this way okay, then the other hand this way, yes, and then in between your fingers, okay, interlocking this way, yes, and then you go this way, and then the other hand, and then we move to the thumb, okay, and the other thumb as well, and then you come to your wrist, okay. So now disinfect the wrist, and then you are good to go.
Yeah. You know what some people do when the hand is still wet? They'll be empty their hand. That you end up contaminating your hands again.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Make sure everything dries from your hand, and then you can go ahead and wash. If you have the facility to do the hand washing. There's a caller on the line. Hello. Good evening. Hello. Good evening. Can you hear us?
Hello, good evening.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to contribute to what you are saying. I'm called Elder from Hanover from Kumasi.
Elder from Kumasi?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Please, I like the contribution you are making, but thank you very much. You are doing very well.
Thank you.
Yeah,
too.
but I just want to focus on one thing, that's environmental sanitation. But if you wash your hands, if you use sanitizer, and your environment is not clean, you are doing nothing. So all that I want us to also touch on is environmental sanitation. As an environmentalist, I will advocate that we also take care of our environment so that our environment will be clean And when you go out, you know, you take ourselves, and like we are saying, when you touch, surfaces and other things, in fact, or if you use tissue paper and you dump it elsewhere, I think you are not practicing, environmental sanitation, and you can infect it, infect yourself. So as we are, educating the public, we should also touch on environmental sanitation as a measure, and that's very also important. As an environmentalist, that's what I just want to say.
That's a great point. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much for that. Yes, so whilst maintaining personal hygiene through hand washing, using sanitizers and all that, you need to also keep your environment clean.
Yes.
Yes, so disinfecting your environment also plays a key role.
And you shouldn't forget, malaria kills more people than COVID-19 in Ghana,
exactly.
So let's take note of that. Can we talk about the social distancing? Yes.
Yes, so like Dr. Sheridan said from the beginning, it is a droplet infection, and then the virus is suspends in
within
the air.
100 centimeter radius.
Radius around about 1 to 2 meters radius around the infected person who has released the viruses into the environment through cough or sneezing. Okay. So when you come close to the person's surrounding,
within that circle, you are at risk of getting the disease.
You are at risk of getting the disease.
Okay.
That's how come now the common terminology you hear beside the COVID-19 is hand washing and then social distancing.
Can we go for this break? When we come back, we'll talk more about the social distancing.
Okay.
So viewers, we'll go for a short break. Let's not forget our WhatsApp number 0559 680066 and our phone call number 0302 959065. We'll be right back after this break.
It's fun to share with others, except when you're sharing germs. Here are some tips to stay healthy and prevent the spread of disease. Don't cough or sneeze into the air, as this can spread germs. Wave hello to greet people, rather than hugging or shaking hands. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with your hands. Wash your hands regularly with soap and hot water and scrub for at least 20 seconds. Regularly disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces to stop germs from spreading. If you have a fever or think you may be getting sick, just stay home. Your body needs rest and you don't need to share your germs with anyone else. Working together, we can all help keep our community free from germs and prevent the spread of disease.
Once again, you're welcome to the program Take a Break.
If it is God you want to follow, you must follow the Bible. If it is men you want to follow, then you can follow your pastor or your church, but I guarantee you, they have no heaven to put you in.
If we trust in God, when we know that God will help us in every situation that we find ourselves, then we bring God in the boat.
Take a break, showing this on every Friday at 6 p.m.
You're welcome to our discussion, and a lot of questions are coming and a lot of phone calls. We appreciate your calls and your feedback. We are here to help you learn more about COVID-19, so just feel free to send your WhatsApp messages and send your calls. We're talking about social distancing, and the rationale behind that is that because there's tendency of the droplet staying within 1 to 2 meters radius, if you are close to that person, you can you inhale, you can get the disease. Yeah. But the question will be, should we distance from everybody, or should be somebody who is down with the disease? What's the social distance?
So, as we are now, you don't know who has the disease, who has COVID-19. Some people are even asymptomatic. They don't show the symptoms. So, and for someone who has the condition that has been confirmed, that person goes into isolation. Okay, so the social distancing help you to not come close to each other a lot, so that you don't fall within the 1 to 2 meter radius of people, and so if the person has it, then it's easily transferred. So we have to be keeping distances.
Oh my God! So now,
I mean, that is not how society flows.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, when you come to Africa, your wife and the same house now.
Yeah, when you come to Africa, for instance, there's this watch seller who is selling the. We form a queue. We are. Yes,
we
sit in trot frog.
Just close.
Yes. Exactly, we are packed together. Yes, we go to the market places. In churches, we sit close to each other.
Let's take this phone call and get back.
Okay.
Hello, good evening. Can you mention your name and where you are calling from?
Okay, I'm Abigail. I'm calling from Boise.
Okay, Abigail.
Okay, my question is, I'm a mother, and when I'm breastfeeding my child, should I always wash the breast or bow before breastfeeding my child?
Okay, that's a good question. So, should she wash her hands before she breastfeed?
Yeah, I say that basically it is even a personal hygiene technique. That's because once the baby is going to suck into the system, you have to make sure that everything is clean.
Okay.
Yes, so it's very, very important that you wash it, clean it, make it clean for the baby, and that you are not only protecting the baby from probably COVID-19, you're also protecting the baby from any intestinal illnesses.
So make sure your bra is neat.
Exactly.
All of those things. And so talking about this social distancing, even among, you know, a part of the world, single room, we have 2 people living in the same room. That's what the question was. Should we distance from those who are already showing the disease or from everybody else? Because our distance now is not up to the 1 centimeter.
Yeah, so it's the idea is everybody.
Okay.
Okay. That we keep that distance. It's very important. That's how come even countries and societies are locking down, so that you all keep away from outside, be in your homes, and even your home you need to keep distance apart, because you don't know who will be
coming close to you,
who have the disease or who doesn't. Okay. So that social distancing is cardinal, and in fact countries like China, that was one of the techniques. It looks like the infection rate has.
Okay, so we'll take this phone call too. Hello, good evening. Yes, sir, good evening. Can you mention your name and where you are calling from? Then your question will come.
Yes, I'm calling. Yeah, my name is Nanaya, calling from Sakrat.
Okay.
Just want to clarify something.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, in case I don't have, what do you call it, hand sanitizer at the moment with me when I'm walking around, but I happen to get this wet wiper, baby wiper, which is also has an alcoholic content. I don't know whether it can be used in the interim.
Is it a wipe?
Yeah, I think he said alcohol.
Yes,
alcohol wipes.
This wet wipers.
Okay,
the one used for babies.
I think once it has 70% alcohol in it, you
yes.
can still use it
Yes.
in place of the sanitizers. Yes, you can do that.
But then he needs to
wash the hand. That's the focus.
Yeah,
hand washing is the
hand
focus.
washing is very important.
Yeah. So let's talk about the social distancing, just to prevent the spread. There's this thing we also say: don't touch your face, don't touch your nose, don't touch your mouth. What's the rationale behind that, so that we know that we don't have to touch our faces?
Yeah, so we realize that, as we said, the mode of transmission, that when you touch infected surfaces, and then you bring into close contact with your nose or mouth. That is
okay, we'll take this call too. Hello, good evening, and welcome. Please, can you hear us? We can't hear you.
Please, is it good to put on mask?
Is it good to put on face mask? Okay, thank you very much. Yes. That's another point I will take note of. Because they walk through the market and everybody's in mask. Okay, so let's do the don't touch your face thing, and then we'll come to the.
So as I was saying, we said that it's a respiratory illness. Yeah. And the respiratory illness, we have entry points. The nostrils, the mouth are entry points into your nasopharynx, gets through your lungs, and then it comes to it gets. So once you are touching infected surfaces and you touch your mouth, those are entry points that we have given the virus to enter your respiratory system. So once you're able to prevent that, stop that, you are also preventing the virus from getting into the places where they're going to cause the illness.
The focus is that you've touched other surfaces and you are bringing them closer to your face. You may be transferring the virus into you.
Yes, and then they enter.
But if your hands are clean, you can touch your face. You have to really apply the sanitizer.
When you wash your hands,
you can do that.
But we should avoid it as much as possible.
Okay. And then the other one will be respiratory etiquette.
So the respiratory etiquette is, if you know you have a flu, you are coughing, you have to wear the face masks just to prevent the droplets from getting into surfaces or infecting other people. And then if you don't have a face mask, you have to get a tissue to cover your nose or your mouth when you cough. If you also don't have that, you have to cough into your elbow. Never try to cough into your hands. Because some people, in an attempt to cough, they forget and they cough into their hands. And it's the same hands they used to touch surfaces.
Someone said, by the time I realized the cough has come. But if it becomes part of it, by all means, you know how to. So cough into a tissue, a handkerchief, or into your elbow. Don't sneeze or cough into the air. It's not good.
Environment.
Now the face mask. Who should wear the face mask? Should everybody wear the face mask on the street?
So commonly, someone who is coughing is supposed to wear the face mask to prevent the release of the droplets into the environment to infect other people. Okay. And then, so anyone handling patient who is suspected to have the COVID-19 or any form of respiratory infection, or can also put on the face mask. We see people put on face masks, but you know the face mask is disposable. Okay, so when you put it on, one thing is don't touch your face, because when you put a face mask on, it's trapping the viruses or the germs in the environment. And so if you touch your face too, you contaminate. If you touch the face, but you see a lot of trotro drivers, they'll be in face mask, and then at a point they meet their colleague trotro driver and they'll pull it down and then talk and then
pull it back.
They may even pull it down and pick their nose or rub their eye or then the whole idea of using the face mask, you have defeated it.
Add the hand gloves to it. You see taxi drivers.
I think now most people are wearing gloves.
Wearing gloves. That is also discouraged, okay? Because if you handle so many things, and you hand gloves are also disposable. When you use it for a specific purpose, you discard it. You don't reuse it. But what we've realized is that people put it on and then they use it, exchange money, doing so many things, activities. So you see a driver in a face mask and driving, and then he will exchange money with the passengers and a whole lot of. You are carrying essentially a lot of germs on it, on the glove, and you are spreading it as well. You are infecting surface and you are infecting
just
people.
Just a little on the face mask. Ordinarily or naturally, the general public will not be wearing face masks. It will be used by health workers. But we are in a pandemic, and we need to prevent the spread, because if we don't do so and we limit it to only health workers, what happens is that a lot of people are going to get infected and they'll in turn come back to the health facility. So we need to distribute it to make sure that everybody has a face mask to protect him or herself. Once there's that measure, the pressure on the health facility is also reduced.
So we'll go for a short break and come back and continue. The next discussion will be running down. I'm taking a summary of what we've done so far and take some few questions and some comments. So we'll take a short break. As we said earlier, our WhatsApp number is 0559680066 and our call number 0302959065. We'll go for a short break. We'll be right back.
It's fun to share with others, except when you're sharing germs. Here are some tips to stay healthy and prevent the spread of disease. Don't cough or sneeze into the air, as this can spread germs. Wave hello to greet people, rather than hugging or shaking hands. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with your hands. Wash your hands regularly with soap and hot water and scrub for at least 20 seconds. Regularly disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces to stop germs from spreading. If you have a fever or think you may be getting sick, just stay home. Your body needs rest and you don't need to share your germs with anyone else. Working together, we can all help keep our community free from germs and prevent the spread of disease.
In Exodus 25, God called Moses to the top of the mountain, and he showed him the whole business of the sanctuary.
And let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them.
If it had not been for sin, the sanctuary would have been in heaven alone.
When sin came and we were separated, what God had to do was to bring man back to himself. And that is what God did through the sanctuary.
It is through the sanctuary that we have gotten what we know today is our temples, our synagogues, and all the names that you can make out of.
What in the world is happening to our churches? A sinner who is coming before God to ask for forgiveness, and you are dancing and jumping
in the name of
praising Him. Praising Him. When angels are prostrating.
If we want to find God, we have to go through the sanctuary because He is in the sanctuary.
Join us as we bring your way with the message of the gospel in symbols, the sanctuary.
The Sanctuary Trumpet. You will not want to miss an episode.
Okay, welcome back to our discussion, and we'll take the questions on WhatsApp now. I'm Tiger from Ahafo. I want to ask, can sunlight kill the virus? I think the answer is unanimous.
No, it doesn't kill the virus.
Happy Sabbath. I'm Harriet from Secondary. Please, how often do we have to use the gloves and the nose mask? I think we spoke about it. If you are coughing, you use it. If you are working on someone who is not well, as a medical person, you use it. We can still have some in our bags in case someone is coughing around us. You can put that one on. But it shouldn't be that everybody is seeing, wearing it, and also touching it.
If you actually want to use the face mask, know that it's disposable. You cannot reuse it. So you don't, after using it for that period, you put it in your bag, or you go and wash it, and then you dry it, and then you put it on again. No, that's not how it's done. Once you use it for that purpose that you want to use it for, you have to discard it. And also, when you put it on, don't touch your face. Don't move it. It has to be on. If you want to take it out, you take it out from, some of them you have to tie it at the back. Okay. And others too has a string attached that you put it around your ear. So you take it off the same way you fixed it.
The head down a bit. So that
with the head down a bit. Don't take it, don't pull it out like that. Otherwise, you contaminate your hand and even contaminate yourself.
After taking it off, you go and wash your hands.
You go and wash your hands, exactly.
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for the education. How is spraying ongoing to be done, especially those in the rural areas? I'm sure the person is talking about the spraying of fumigation of our market.
Yeah, on Monday.
Starting on Monday. Yes. The doctors who have been diagnosing those having COVID-19, are their lives not at risk? Hannah from Ajamusu.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very good point, because in some countries in Europe, we have medical or health personnel dying because they are the frontliners. Even they have the PEPs and everything are dying. So everybody is at risk, especially those of us who take care of those people. Yeah, we are highly at risk.
So that's the oath we've taken to take care of those who are sick.
So that's how come we are very cautious when we are dealing with those patients. We take very strict preventive measures. So I'm sure most people have seen on TVs that you see the doctors gowned all over. It's like they've covered every part of their body, like those going to space. Yes, wearing a very big gown, covered all over, the goggles and face masks, all so that you protect every part of your body from contamination.
Please, I'm Grace from Kade. Please, do I need to see all symptoms before I know I have COVID-19, or I should go to the hospital immediately I get headache? I think we spoke about this earlier. Hi guys, we are advised to take fruits and vegetables to get vitamins, but how sure will you be to know the sellers are not infected? If yes, how do you sanitize the fruits so that you don't get infected after taking them? Mark Solomon from Asamanke.
That's a very funny question.
This is a very good question. So I think basically when we come to even how to handle fruits and vegetables, once you buy them from the market, you have to make sure that you wash them very well. And then you can even put them in salt water or vinegar just to make sure that it disinfects the ones that can be done that way. But some of the fruits, you can't do that to them. For example, we buy something like grapes. I don't think you're going to put Dettol or soapy water, put the grapes inside anything. But those that have the covering, we should try as much as possible to wash them clean and everything before we consume them.
And it also tells you that the fight or prevention against COVID-19 is a collective effort. Yeah, so if the person selling water on the street or selling the fruit or selling any other thing contaminate whatever thing that is, and doesn't take the necessary precaution, he's going to, that person will contaminate things and contaminate a lot of people and spread the infection. So it's a collective effort. So you may take all the precautions or the preventive measures, but if your friend doesn't do that, the infection will spread. So all of us need to come together and be very cautious and practice all the preventive measures we are talking about.
Good evening. Can mosquitoes and houseflies transmit the coronavirus?
For now, no, we don't know that they transmit.
Okay. Happy Sabbath and very much thanks to you. I'm Engineer Emmanuel Nagbo. I heard some health facilities have shortage of PPEs, nose masks, gloves. Is that the case? Do we have enough at our health centers, even as a country? Doctors objectively do have health systems put in place to contain mass cases. God bless you. And this shortage of PPEs, I think it's global. US has shortage, UK has shortage. Possibly because the outbreak is huge. Yeah. The whole world is calling for these things, and the manufacturing companies are few. So the shortage is not only in Ghana. I read just yesterday that CDC in US is telling the people to reuse the face mask because there's shortage. People are now going to sell their own PPEs. So
and partly also because the world wasn't really prepared for
the pandemic.
In February, February was a very calm month. Then March became heated and it was spreading all over. So the world really didn't prepare, most countries didn't prepare ahead of time adequately. I think no country...
They caught us by surprise.
Yes.
So basically I think that the manufacturing companies that we have in this country, as much as possible, those who can manufacture it locally,
to help us manufacture,
to come into contact with the government, ministry, see how best they can produce this thing on a very large scale for all of us to use it.
Is COVID transferred through blood and semen or other body fluids? No, please, no. Can someone who has recovered from COVID-19 get it again? This Evans from Takrady.
Yes,
But there were cases in China like that.
Yes, right? There's been some reported cases like that. And so one thing we have to know is that we don't know everything about the virus because it's a new thing. We don't know much about it. So over time, I'm sure when this pandemic ends, a lot of research will be done. We'll go into it, and then we'll discover so many things about this virus.
Okay. Doc, please, if an infected person sits close to you without breathing towards you or shaking your hands, can you be infected? This appear could be from Bubuashi. The answer is?
So if an infected person sits close to you,
doesn't breathe to you, doesn't handshake you, doesn't cough to you,
there's no video.
There's no way you can get it as far as we know. How do you know the person has it or doesn't have it? That's the question.
Yeah, and how can you still beside someone and not breathe if you're alive?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then this point must be made that if someone is not exhibiting the symptoms, in that he's not coughing, he's not sneezing, the tendency to infect other people is low. And I think you were explaining that earlier. Yes.
So asymptomatic people who are not showing symptoms of the disease are less infectious, what we know now, than people who are showing the symptoms, especially coughing and sneezing, because that activity makes you release a lot of the viruses into the air. Yes. And so asymptomatic people still, because they are talking, they are breathing, can still release some amount of viruses, but not as much as people who are symptomatic. So people who are showing the symptoms are more infectious
than those
who are not showing the symptoms.
This is John from Obuasi. Please, good evening. Please, what about our mothers on market? What should they do when they are selling? The same thing we mentioned.
All the preventive measures we
hand washing
about,
and all of those things goes to them. Good evening. Please, can I go to the health center to test myself when I find out that I'm not feeling well or seeing the symptoms of COVID-19? And will the test be free? I think we answered. We are not doing voluntary testing.
Yes.
Yeah, now
it's not a walking testing.
Yeah. Well done for the education, but please, how safe is it to board trotro, or better still, what safety measures should you take?
Yes. When we come to Ghana, trotro is one of the commonest means that everybody uses for transportation. I think I saw a message on WhatsApp that once you sit in the trotro, first thing you have to sanitize your hand. If you take money out and give it to the mate, sanitize your hand. If you take your change from the mate, sanitize your hand. If, let's say, someone gets down and you have to change positions, once you sit down, you do it. So sitting in the trotro mainly goes with hand sanitizing.
Good.
At every point in time, as much as possible, sanitize. And then if there's anyone in the trotro who has cold or flu, the person should think of others and cover their mouth and wear a face mask.
If someone accidentally coughs and you don't have handkerchief or what do you call it, tissue with you, what can you do? Do you cease breathing for some time and walk away? How do you deal with that?
So you have to take a distance.
Okay.
From the person.
Okay.
You have to quickly take a distance from the person.
But if you cease breathing, does it help?
Well, if you cease breathing, it means you are trying to stop inhaling the fine. If you stop your breath, fine. But you immediately you need to take yourself off,
cover your
and then cover your mouth as much. You can cover your mouth with or your mouth and nose with your elbow to prevent. The same way, if someone doesn't have handkerchief or tissue, the person and the person wants to cover, the person can cover the face with the elbow. If this also, if there's by accident someone coughs or sneezes in your face.
So I think Doc made a point about it being a collective effort.
It's a collective effort.
Yes. If you know you are coughing, it's cough etiquette. Don't cough into people.
Don't cough into other people. We have 2 more questions and then we can close. The first one talks about exchange of money, which Dr. Sheridan mentioned. Have a sanitizer. You give money to the mate, you sanitize your hand, so you prevent that. Happy Sabbath and Meshach, what are we going to do to calm our people down? Because I believe the fear is also killing some people. And then finally, good evening. God bless you for the advice. And someone says, are hairdressers also safe? So I think at this point, we will take our closing remarks on what you've done so far. I'll start with Dr. Sheridan. What are you going to tell our people as we end the discussion?
So basically, the world is struggling to, get over this COVID-19 issue. So as much as possible, let's stay safe, go through the precautionary measures. And the government is also trying to do its best to limit or restrict travels just to protect ourselves. If you don't have anywhere to go, which is so important, please stay home. And then make sure that you are always washing your hands, using the sanitizers as much as possible. And we can't take away prayer.
Sure.
We should pray that God himself would heal our land and keep us safe.
Thank you very much, Dr. Baffour.
So we shouldn't fear and panic. Okay. Most people with COVID, even people COVID-19 are recovering. They are doing very well. If you have a good immune system, you are likely to handle the disease very well. Okay. And also, like you said, prayer is very important. We need to pray as well, commit ourselves to God and for God's protection. But then we need to also abide by all the preventive measures that we've talked about. Regular hand washing, hand sanitizing, good cough etiquette, and then social distancing. That's very important.
Okay.
I'm sure once we do these things, our risk of getting the disease will minimize. Yeah, and everyone will live a safe and healthy life. Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us. And this discussion for me should keep going, especially the preventive measures. And as Christians, we want to say that we shouldn't be afraid. We have a God to trust. He's ready and able to protect all of us. As we speak about all of these things, there's a need for us also to stay healthy and have a good immune system. In the course of our discussion, Dr. Sheridan mentioned the New Start. As Adventists and as people, we know when you follow these principles, you will live healthy. Nutrition, eat well, eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, make sure you eat well. Exercise, you exercise your body. W for water, S for sunlight, T for temperance. And I usually talk about temperance. Temperance is not only about not drinking alcohol, but not smoking, but the things that are good, you do them in moderation. So salt is good, but in moderation. Sugar is good in moderation. But the things that are not good, you don't have to take them. So like alcohol and the other things you keep mentioning. Air, make sure you have a lot of fresh air into your room. So open your windows for fresh air to move in. Have enough rest. People don't sleep these days. So their body is always active, and then they are prone to hypertension and other diseases. And we also studied that in our discussion. If you have diabetes, hypertension, cardiac problems, you're at high risk of developing the disease when you get the virus than somebody who is very active. And then trust in God, that we must also trust in God. So New Start, let's practice it and we'll live healthy. And I want to say that COVID-19 is not a death sentence. People have recovered. In fact, those who have recovered are more than those who have died. Ghana has 19 cases. We can still help and break the chain when we go by the preventive measures we've mentioned. If you travel into the country, please make sure you self-quarantine yourself so you don't spread the disease to other people. It is good for you, it is good for all of us, and let's stay safe. God bless all of you, and we hope to meet you at another time. Amen.
Amen.
Hope Channel, changing lives.